Welcome to the Green Living Now podcast, the show that helps you live healthier, cleaner, and more consciously without overwhelm. I'm your host, Amy Todisco, green living mentor, organic farmer, and holistic health advocate with over 30 years of experience helping people just like you detox their lives from the food that they eat to the products that they use. Each week, I bring you powerful stories, expert insights, and practical tips that you can use to help you ditch the toxins, embrace sustainable living, and feel your best naturally. What happens when the life that you've built comes crashing down, literally, and the only way forward is to reinvent yourself from the inside out? Today's guest, Bhavna, was a successful financial professional until a devastating car accident became a catalyst for a total transformation. In this episode, you'll hear how that one moment awakened her spiritual gifts, led her to energy healing, and inspired a mission to create global wellness communities rooted in love, sustainability, and holistic health. Whether you're feeling stuck, searching for your next chapter, or you're just curious about the intersection between trauma healing and purpose, this story will stir something within you. All right, Bhavna, welcome to the Green Living Now podcast.
Thank you. Thank you, Amy, for having
Yeah,
me.
we have so many things to talk about, as we were just chatting prior to. Tell us about your background. How did you come to be doing the things that you're doing right now?
So, my background, interestingly, is I'm actually an MBA with banking and finance and from New York State University. And so, my goal was to actually go and work in Wall Street.
Oh
And
my gosh. Okay.
when you come here and you become a mom, and then you're living your life according to your family, and my dream was to be there for my kids, be a mom, be a wife, be a daughter-in-law. So I had a very small dream, and
Okay.
just work and just be there. And I always tell people, but God always has a different plan. So you have a plan, and then He has
Yes.
a plan.
Yes.
So however hard you try to do your plan, ultimately He succeeds.
That is true.
And that is what happened with me too.
How many children do you have?
I have two kids.
Two kids. Okay. So you're a mom, you're working, you got a PhD, did I
No,
understand?
MBA.
MBA. Okay. And so did you ever make it to Wall Street or you ended up deciding to
No,
go to the
no,
mom
not
thing first?
right. Not no. I did work in the financial industry,
Okay.
and I was working there, and then I went through a near-death experience, and that changed my entire, I say, the ball game.
Okay,
And
well, let's talk about that. What
sure.
happened?
So I was driving, I dropped my kids, being an Indian, I had my kids going to the Indian school because I wanted them to learn the language. So I
Nice.
had dropped them on Sunday and I was like, okay, I have 2 hours. I'm going to go grocery shop, go cook, and then come back and pick them up.
Okay.
Regular mom thing. And I was just driving. I'm a person who drives at the speed limit or less. So people
Ah,
always complain, come on, go fast. But
yes.
so I was driving and then somebody decided to jump the red light. And I saw them come as I was driving, and I had no way to escape. So they hit me, and my car flipped twice and hit a truck, and then flipped again, and then the whole car was
Whoa.
on top of me. So I just closed my eyes. I was like, okay, God, I'm coming.
Wow.
So when I opened my eyes, I was stuck. My seatbelt was stuck. My door wouldn't open. The car was on top of me. My legs, everything. It
And
was just,
was your car crushed to the point
it,
of
it
you
was
being,
not crushed, but it was like the whole thing had fallen down on me
got it.
and it was fuming and everything. And so even the paramedics and the cops, they all came and I shouted for help and they just nodded their head and went away. So
What?
yeah, so it all
They
happened.
didn't try to help you?
Nobody tried to pull me out. I was stuck and nobody came.
Oh
And
my word, that is just horrifying. I've never heard of such a thing.
exactly, the other car had kids, so everybody just rushed to the other car. They just left me alone. So, and then
Oh
my car was
my.
fuming. So I was like, all right, God, if this is what you want, just make it fast. So I closed my eyes
Right.
and sit there. And then from the passenger side window, a hand came in and was like, give me your hand. I'm like, I'm stuck. My seatbelt's stuck. It won't
Yeah.
open. So he's like, try it again. So I tried this time and it clicked open. And I was like, okay. So he's like, give me your hand now. I said, I can't move because the car is on top of me. He's like, just give
Yes.
me your hand. So I gave my hand and he pulled me out from the passenger side window as if I was a leaf. And as soon as I got out, he's like, "Are you okay?" And then I look down and I look up and I say, "Yes." And there was nobody inside.
I knew you were going to say that. I was totally expecting this to be some kind of a guardian angel. Oh my word.
And so that's when I just stood there, like, what just
Whoa.
happened here? And that's when I realized, God did come. I heard his voice, I saw his hand, but I didn't see his face.
And
You know,
so were you injured?
physically, from top, nothing. I was
Really? Not
perfectly
even a
fine,
scratch.
not even a scratch, you know?
That
And
is just incredible. Okay.
it was like magic. It was like a miracle. And
What were your spiritual beliefs before this experience?
I was okay. I was not spiritual. I was more
Yeah,
like, you get caught up in the family life and you're living, and just sometime you'll do the religious things, and that's it.
right.
Nothing much into not religious, not so spiritual, you know, more living with family and everything, just like regular
Gotcha.
people, right?
Okay.
So I wasn't into too much God, 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 or anything like that.
Yeah.
Just do regular prayers.
Okay.
But this just changed everything. And
Yeah.
that was the first time I actually heard God's voice and had his hand. And then that's the point where in my life I started talking to him and I started hearing him
Oh,
from that point. So everything
interesting.
changed.
So that opened up a relationship in a much more intimate way, it sounds like, where you were talking one on one.
Exactly. It was sort of like I got a direct connection with him from
Yes.
that point. And then I could talk to him 24/7.
Well, so it felt like it was actually God as opposed to just a guardian angel.
Yes, that's
Oh,
that's what
wow.
happened.
Oh
Because
my
when
gosh.
I talked to
Okay.
him and I was like, what happened here? I stood there for some time and then I
Sure.
went back. I was like, I don't think this actually happened. So
Right.
I didn't come out with this till last year. I didn't talk about this experience
Oh,
with anybody. I just kept it till God
you
said
didn't
it's
even
okay.
tell your husband.
I didn't tell anybody.
Oh my gosh. And how long
And
ago was that?
this was in 2005 on 2nd October.
Oh, so you were holding on to this for quite some time.
Yes, and that's when God last year said it's okay to share this with people.
Oh,
And you
interesting.
shared this. And I said, okay, God. So
Okay.
afterwards, when I got out from there and then I went back, I opened the door and sat there. And I just sat there like, okay, let me take a moment. At that time, I wasn't worried that the car's going to blow off or
Okay.
it's fuming. I was just totally in a different space and in a safe
Yes.
state of like, what just happened with me here?
Right. Sort of processing this whole experience. Sounds
Exactly.
like.
So I just used to sat there, and then when I got back, then I called my husband. As like, I'm in an accident. Can you come and pick me up?
Yes.
You know? And he was like, okay. So he came and he took me, and the paramedics came at that time. "Yeah, are you okay?" And I was like, I'm fine. I just need to go home. But afterwards, the trauma actually hit because outside I was perfectly fine, and then my right leg, I was in pain. I couldn't move to the point that I actually had paralyzed and I had to be rushed to ER.
Ooh,
And
wait, so how long after the accident did that happen? The paralyzing feeling?
that was, I think, within a week.
Oh my goodness. So
Like
you're saying that there wasn't any
people,
physical issue, but that the emotional trauma created this symptom, shall we call it? Or how would you describe it?
I wouldn't know. Like maybe it could have been that.
Oh, okay.
Because, like I said, the whole car was on top of my
Yeah,
legs. So it could have been as a result of that.
I
But
see.
physically, at that time, I was fine,
Okay.
But afterwards, the pain came back. Like in 3 days, I was in pain. And then I was
Okay.
like, okay, now we need to go to the ER because I'm in
Right.
a lot of pain.
Right.
And then I was in pain for almost 2 years, 24/7. And I tried
Ooh,
everything in the Western medical system. I
wow.
I did physical therapy. I did everything, whatever
Yep.
they said, and I was living on, painkillers. Oh my God. I had small kids, so
Yikes. Oh
completely
my
full
gosh. So
house.
it's not like you could just curl up in a ball.
No. So, you're doing everything, but you're
Yes.
living in pain 24/7, even if you're having all these painkillers,
Even with the
800.
painkillers, you're still in pain.
You're still in pain because
Wow. It
it's
just
like,
mutes it a little bit.
it didn't make a difference.
It didn't even make a difference.
It
Oh
didn't
my
make a
gosh.
difference. And then I was on crutches. So I would go to, physical therapy and come out on crutches. I tried everything.
Okay.
that's when I was like, God, what do I do?
Yeah, that was going to be my next question is where was God in all of this pain?
So I went to the point, I literally dropped down to the point, like, why am I even living? I'm living
Mm,
in so much pain, and what's the purpose of my life here?
yes.
Why did you even save me? Like, if I had to live like this, why am I,
Right, right. What was the
every
point of that?
exactly, what is the point of that? So that's why I
Yeah.
understand people who go through pain and who are, sad and depressed
Hmm.
and angry and upset because I went through that myself,
Yes.
that process. And you feel lost, like, God, I've helped people in the community. I'm always there. Nobody's here for me. I'm all
Right,
alone. What's
right,
going on? Like, you feel
right.
so upset and angry with everybody then.
Sure.
So that's when he said, stop pitying yourself. He's like,
Stop. Say it again. Stop
stop pitying yourself,
pitying. Okay.
you know?
So don't be a
Heal yourself.
victim.
Yes, stop being a
Okay.
victim and
Okay.
step up, and you know how to heal yourself. And I was like, what do you mean? He's like, you know how to help and heal yourself. And I was like, I do? He's like,
Hmm.
yes, you know. So I said, okay. So that's when I started to tune into myself. I started to be more, spiritual. I went deeper inside of me.
Okay.
And that's when I gained that knowledge of how to heal myself. And I did that.
So
And
you tuned into your own intuition, and that led you to different things that you could use to heal yourself.
yes, that led me to know what to do and how
Okay.
to heal myself. And I did.
So what did you do?
I just knew intuitively what to do and how to move my legs and how to do things.
Okay.
And I don't know, I just knew, it just came.
So it's not like you went to some sort of alternative practitioners. You just knew in your,
I tried everything.
oh, you tried
I,
all the alternative people too.
like I said, I tried Western medical, I tried massage, I tried everything
Oh,
on the planet because I was in so much pain.
I see. Okay.
Right? So nothing worked. And I was like, God, this is not working. So that's when he said, you know what to do. So then I did that and I healed myself. And after 2 years, I was not in pain anymore.
You had 2 years of pain, and then it took 2 years to get rid of the pain by
No, no.
doing,
So 2005 to 2007, I was in a lot of pain. And
gotcha.
that's when I asked him. So 2007, I started to heal myself.
Right.
And then, you know, and then I was okay.
Okay.
And
And
then
so how long from the point of when you heard you know how to heal yourself did it take before the pain was gone?
I would say like 2 months.
Oh, okay. Not bad. And
Within
so,
2 months, I healed myself.
wow. And so the main thing that you were doing as you tuned into yourself was just walking a different way or
I actually totally shifted because I went from living like a victim to being empowered
I see. So it
to
was more of a
knowing
mindset shift
it was,
first.
yes, it was a mindset shift from God.
I see.
And then when that shifted, then I was able to tune into more within myself in
Ah,
what can I do? And then he started to show me, like, God became my teacher.
okay.
He started to show me this is how your body is. I'm not a medical student, but I got to see how my body from inside was.
Oh, wow.
And I was able to go, okay, so this is like this, and I just have to bring it here. And this is
Ah,
all I have to do. He's like, yes, and you can do it. So he totally told me and showed me my body from inside.
I
So
see.
it was, yeah.
That's miraculous.
So, and then accordingly, I started to, okay, so I'm walking like this. I would see myself in the mirror. I'm walking like
Yes.
this. I would pay attention to how I was walking, what I was doing. So I
Mhm.
shifted, you know?
That's so interesting. So it was the mindset shift out of being a victim first, and
Yes,
then being able to see from the inside what was actually out of balance, I guess we should say, right? And then paying attention to what the goal was, the way you wanted it to look from inside, and then just adjusting things as you went along,
exactly.
right?
So
That is
when he
amazing.
showed me, like, with the accident, the whole thing coming out and hitting me, so the
Yes.
neck was pushed off, even though I was doing chiropractic work,
Ah,
or even though I was doing physical, the back
right.
was pushed out,
Got it.
and I had the tear and I had all that. sciatica, all of that happened together. So
Okay.
he showed me, he's like, this is what is here, this is what is here, and this is what it's supposed to look like.
Jeez.
So
That
I was
is
like,
amazing.
okay, so then what can I do? He's like, you tell me. So he became like a teacher who would ask me, you tell me.
That's
So
wild.
then I used my brain to, okay, if I did this, if I did that, and I'm
Yeah.
very logical that way. So
Yes.
I'm not a doctor. So I could see, I was like, if I just shifted from here this way, and moved, I'm moving like this. And if I moved like this and I kept my posture straight, that would make a difference.
Yeah. And it did.
Yes, yes, it did. And so all of that got me. And this was something which was going on with me and God only.
Yes.
So nobody was hearing, and I was talking with him 24/7.
And were
The,
you talking sort of internally, or did you actually speak words out loud when you were by yourself?
no, I was just internally talking.
Just internally. Okay.
Exactly. So internally talking
Yeah.
and just listening is like, and most of the time I would I would talk all the time, but most of the time it would be at night when I was done for the
I
day,
see. That makes
everybody's in
sense.
bed, and I
When you
would
had
like,
time to focus.
exactly.
Yeah.
And I would be God, like, okay, I am in a lot of pain, you know,
Yeah.
like when, especially when you are standing all day long and you've got little kids.
Absolutely. And
God,
picking them up and all the things that we do as
and
moms.
exactly,
Right.
because the work doesn't stop. People don't realize that. For a mom, the work doesn't stop. So you
That is so
continue,
true. It's
you know,
24/7.
it's
And even when
24/7.
they're grown and out of the house, it doesn't stop.
It doesn't stop. True.
Or at least the mothering feelings,
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, now everybody's sleeping. So God, I'm still in pain. What do I do? Show me
Mm.
this. So that's how it happened. And everything started to shift from that point.
Wow.
And when that shifted and I became better, then God said, now would you like to be that hand I was to you for others?
Ooh, that's beautiful.
And I had no doubt. And I said, yes, God,
Yes.
you know. And he said, okay. And that time I was working with the PNC Bank full time.
I'm
I
sorry, you were working with what?
with PNC Bank now.
Oh, a bank,
Yeah.
PNC Bank. Okay.
So I quit the job.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And he said, what are you going to do? And I said, I don't know anything, but I'm a Reiki master. Maybe I'll just start with that.
Oh, so you did have that.
Yeah, I was a Reiki practitioner, and then people, when I would go to Reiki shares, they felt I was pretty powerful, and they were like, the Reiki master came to my house, and when I was just full-term pregnant with my second child, she's like, "No, you're becoming a master." I'm like,
Oh my
"Really?"
goodness.
So she came to my house and made me a master. So I said, "Okay,
Okay.
you know what? I'll start with this." So he said, "Okay." So
Makes sense.
I actually started with that, and
Okay.
I started with $0. I had nothing because now obviously my husband was like, "Why are you quitting such a good earning job, right?
Right, right.
You make so much money, and then suddenly there's like six people in the house, and you're quitting." And I'm
Ooh,
like, "I'm just gonna do this," and he's like, "Okay."
wow, that's good.
So, and I was like, God, I have no idea because I don't know how to do business. I'm not a businesswoman. I've
Okay.
always worked for companies, so you will have to be my partner. And he's like,
Yes.
okay, yes. So it was nice because it was all the time God would just say yes, yes, yes. And I was
That
like,
is so
be my business
amazing.
partner and teach me what to do and bring me your people and connect me to them. And he said, don't worry, I will bring you my people. You will connect with them, your business will grow with them, and my people will come and you will heal them. And I said, okay,
Okay, so then what happened?
so I got a one room, and then people just started showing up.
So
Just
you
started
didn't even have
coming.
to advertise. People just
No,
appeared.
I never advertised anywhere. And it just
Wow.
started from referral. My business grew from referral. One person, they got healed, they told their friends,
I
family.
see. So
It was just
all first person referrals from people that you had helped, then
exactly.
obviously told their friends and family and oh my
And
gosh.
it
Okay.
just started that way. And then soon, within 2 years, from one room, I had a big penthouse suite, and I had 30 plus practitioners. And then I became a coach, I became a mentor because I wanted to help more. So I
Yeah.
started to study, I started to do courses myself, and I became a community advocate. I went and learned about cancer. and heart attack
Oh,
because my family
wow.
is full of people with heart attack. So I wanted to know more about it to, serve more people with that.
Right.
So I started to do support groups for cancer people and heart people and free support group. And even today, I do for cancer people, I do free healings every Wednesday morning, 10 to 10:30.
And are you doing Reiki or some other things
No,
too?
no. So during this course, not Reiki anymore, but
Oh,
during
okay.
this course, fast forward, so I became a best-selling author, became a coach, mentor, I became a transformational speaker, started
Jeepers,
putting
busy.
out. Yes, it just got immediately got so busy. I was working almost like 80 hours a week,
Oh my goodness.
and almost have done more than 50,400 people now
Oh
over
my
the years.
gosh. In
And
how many years?
from say 2008 and full time 2012,
That is
2008 was like
unbelievable. So we're only talking 4 years?
not 4 years, from 2012.
2012. Okay. Oh my
Yes.
gosh. So how has your life changed since then?
It has drastically changed. I've become more peaceful. You're more calm, and it's easy to understand people. When you accept yourself, things start to fall in place. When I look at people and I do coaching or I do healing, I
Right.
get that knowing what's going on, and
And
how
do you
can I
have
help?
to ask for that, or it just happens the minute you're talking to somebody?
It just happens. So
And
I can tune in, tune out, I can zoom in, zoom out. So
okay. And when you say you can see everything, what are you seeing?
everything,
So their life purpose, their health, their mental
every
well-being, the whole
whole,
spectrum of
yes.
everybody.
Yes, I can see to the point because I work at the soul level. I can even
Yeah.
see their soul and their soul's purpose and their different lifetimes, which is affecting them at that time.
Oh my gosh, that's fascinating. So you have this experience, you're doing workshops, you're doing private sessions, you're doing retreats, and now you have
Speaking.
something different that you've been told. So tell us about that.
So as I was shown the big, huge, huge version in 2008, it was humongous. But as I progressed through, when you start becoming pure and being the light, anything which is processed does not go well because it's not pure in form.
Anything processed. What are we talking about? Food?
Food.
Oh, okay.
So
Yes.
when I started to eat something, before whatever I ate didn't matter. But now, if I had
Oh.
something which had, while they were sprayed pesticide, my body would know, and I started getting allergic reactions.
Oh, so you
And I
couldn't
was
eat the way you used to because now you had to feed your body a much
much
healthier,
healthier and higher
non-toxic.
vibration food. Exactly. Like I
Okay.
would eat apple every single day. And one day I was eating that apple, same apple bag I got, and I
Yes.
was eating every day, and I was eating and I choked on it.
Oh. And was
Like
that a conventional apple versus an organic, or it didn't matter?
it didn't matter. So when I choked on it and I was rushed to ER, and now I carry a EpiPen. So now there's a whole range of food. And I realized
Wow.
anything which is processed or has pesticides or it's like frozen for a longer time and it's not healthy anymore. Like
It's
it's not
not what?
alive. It's not healthy and not
Oh,
alive.
not healthy. Okay.
Yes.
So I'm curious about that because I know that, we have an organic farm here in Vermont. And one of the things I do in the summer is I bring people for tours and they taste their way through the farm. So as I'm educating them about organic, sustainable agriculture, we're tasting cherry tomatoes off the vine, we're eating kale off the plant. That's when the plant has the most life force energy. So once it's been picked and in a very short time, I think it loses the life energy, not the nutrients. It loses nutrients over time, but how do you see that as far as
So
food
that's
and
the
life
important,
energy?
yes, that's the important part. So part of my vision was to have a organic farm and then have the wellness centers. So combine that together
I see.
and have it for the community. It's not just for
Right.
me, but to
Right.
have it for the community where people can come in and be part of it and as well as, eat from that.
Yes.
We'll have a cafeteria where we would cook what we are growing and people can
Yes.
come and eat there.
Right.
But the important part, like you talked about, is even if you have that, say, for example, you go pluck a peach, right?
Hmm.
Now the shelf life could be a month, and
Right.
they would afterwards, that gets bad and then they throw it away.
Right.
But how alive is it?
Right.
That is the main part. So the plant, if it is on the tree, it is alive.
Correct.
It comes out of the tree, it is alive only for certain number of days, just like us. If we
Right.
don't get food and water, how
Right.
long will we
Right.
sustain? So same thing.
Exactly.
It's not getting anything.
Correct.
So it's now living on its own. Sometimes it's not even in the sunlight.
Right.
It's packaged and it's put in a box and it's in dark
In the
space.
refrigerator. Yeah. Yeah.
So it's not alive anymore.
Yes.
So when you eat that, you're eating something which is already dead, but there's not any nutrients. If you went to a dead body, would that dead body, is there any nutrients there? No, because
Right.
anytime somebody dies, the bacteria come and
Right.
it starts to decay,
Exactly.
right? So it happens, same thing
Food.
with the food,
Absolutely.
whether it's vegetables, fruits, or meat, whatever.
Right.
So if you have it within certain period, it
Right.
is still alive. After that, it's dead.
Right. And one of the most frustrating things I think is that if you buy food in a store, let's say fresh produce, it's typically a week old before it's even on the shelf. So we know
Yeah.
that that doesn't even have a lot of nutrients in it, much less life energy.
Right. And we're just eating to fill us up for the
Right.
sake
As
of
opposed
eating.
to nourish us.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly. So I wanted to bring that to people. Let's come together
Right.
and let's start a farm and let's all be part of it. It's not mine, it's all of us together.
Hmm.
Let's build it like a community because that's how we started. Humanity, actually, if you go back in time, that's all we started to live in a community and we
Oh,
all could do the
absolutely.
same thing. And there was just an exchange. Okay, you grow peaches, I'll grow apples, you grow
Right.
potatoes, and we'll just exchange that and we'll eat it together. Right?
Yes.
So if we go back to our roots of what
Right.
we did and we lived happily in that,
Yes.
you
Yes.
know
And
we can still,
actually, one of the things that I've noticed is indigenous people that live in a community often live much healthier, happier lives, even though they have very little, you know, certainly material goods, but even little food. There's something about getting nourished through being a part of that community and doing for each other that is so beautiful.
right, because right now that is missing,
Right.
and the connection to the community, you know
Right.
people are so alone. That's
Right.
that's
Right. Which
where
is
the
one of the
abandonment
worst.
issues and the feeling lost and not having that belongingness is not
Yes.
there. So if we
Yes.
can come back together, we start that. I want that for people, and I'm looking for people. If you're looking to belong somewhere, let's connect.
So, okay, so let's articulate the vision. So you live in Florida right now. You're looking for land to create an organic farm, right? Do you
No,
know
I'm
how
looking
big it
to
needs to be?
I'm looking to do it all over the world, not just
Oh,
Florida.
not just in Florida.
Yes, I'm
Okay.
looking for people everywhere who are ready to connect and say, hey, I have a land, can you do this here? Yes, I
Oh.
can. Let's
So
connect.
so
Bring
you'll
all.
help them get things started in their land, wherever that is?
Yes,
Ah,
I'm
okay.
looking for people to connect with me and say, Bhavna, I have the land. Okay, can we do this? Would you allow this? Can we do this? Let's build it. Let's
Oh,
go do it
interesting.
all over the world.
So let's say somebody already has a farm, like us.
Yes.
What role might we be able to play?
So if you already have the farm and you're already growing,
Yes.
so what would be the next step is, we can strategize and how can we bring more people there and
Okay.
how can we educate them to eat alive?
Right, because that's a big
Yes.
part of our mission already, and to be able to grow that piece of it would be really quite magical.
Right. So we can start off with that and then we can build on that and we can take that and replicate with everybody else.
That's so cool. So how do you imagine this network of people having farms? How would they be connected together?
Everything is online right now.
Right.
So,
So would you have like a
so
regular
we
meeting
would
with
have,
everyone?
exactly, we would have a meeting because we're talking about building communities. So
Yes,
communities cannot be just in one place, it can be everywhere.
correct.
And we are still connecting, and everybody would love that because
Right.
if you connect to and tell, hey, I specialize in this, another person could say, I specialize in this, I can help
Right.
you with.
So helping each other build
Exactly.
these
So
organic
see,
farm communities with an educational
exactly. So say for
aspect.
example, Florida is good, and I know we have a lot of oranges here.
Yes.
So I could say, I will just grow oranges here.
Ah,
And you might do, I am good in potatoes. So
yes.
I will just grow potatoes now. So
Okay.
I will send you my oranges and you will send me your potatoes.
Oh, so you're talking about people actually trading food with each other.
Exactly.
Oh,
Because
interesting.
how
Okay.
do we, so that you get the healthy food from here
Right. In the winter,
alive, and I
especially.
get, exactly, and I get what you have and I don't have it.
Interesting.
And so people, wherever what is growing and it is healthy and alive, that's where all of that comes in the community. Like, okay,
That's
I
pretty
have this
neat.
here, I have this here. I don't have to grow every damn thing in Florida,
Right.
right?
So how do you imagine the transportation working of moving this food back and forth around?
We have planes, we have
So
trucks,
just the regular way that food is
just the
moved.
regular way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because of course my mind is going to, okay, how does that work as far as the environmental footprint? But I mean, we already are shipping food back and forth
They're
across
already shipping,
the
like the
country
grocery
and the
stores
world.
are already doing that.
Right, right,
They're already moving, like all the grocery store from Stop and Shop, Shaw's, everything is
right.
already having food.
So would you have sort of a website that had a listing of what everybody's growing so that people can facilitate the trading back and forth?
Yes.
Oh, that's cool.
So
Okay.
I already have what God has shown me is like
Okay. What does that look like?
it's like a network,
Okay.
but it's like every person has their own little something, and then we start to grow that.
Oh, neat.
So say
Wow.
if you are in Vermont, you become the big one in Vermont, and then you teach others in Vermont to
Yes.
network with you, but you become the bigger one,
Right, right.
right? But you
Well, we
support
want to spend
others.
some of our winter someplace warm like Florida, so I can see
Right.
having
So
a
you
dual
could, that's
purpose.
why I said,
Yeah.
so that you also have a break. So you're not
Yes.
24/7, 12 months doing this, right?
Exactly.
So,
Exactly.
so that's what God said. So that people, when we start to do this networking, you could come down to Florida and be here. And I'm like tired of hot, then I could go
Right.
back to your place and say,
Yes.
I'll stay there, you stay here. And then
Yes, yes.
somebody says, I want to go to the east and I want to go to the west. So we have places then to go to.
So neat. Okay,
In
so
fact,
what's the next step to making this dream a
so
realization?
I'm looking for people because God has told me. I said, God, how am I going to do this? He said, I've
Yes.
shown each one that dream and they will connect with you.
Oh, oh,
So I am
interesting.
looking and I'm calling all the people who've had this dream, which God has shown them. They've seen this version. I'm calling them to come now connect with me
Okay,
because I've been
cool.
shown the blueprint of how to do everything.
Wow. Okay, so you mentioned a healing community along with the farming.
Mhm.
So can you say a little bit about that?
Yes, because it does not complete. So if we just did the farming and we still had mental, emotional things going
Right.
on, then people would just come and be angry and upset.
And that
That
gets into the food too.
that interferes with that,
Yes.
with the land, right?
Correct. The
So
land
I'm
and the
all
food. In
exactly.
fact, I remember hearing that first I heard, whoever prepares your food, whatever their energy is, gets into the food. But then I heard that it's even more powerful for the person or people that grow the food because they're interacting with it for so long that their energy gets imbued in the food. So
Exactly. So
that's a very,
I want people to know, and I want to remind them Mother Earth is special. She is
yes,
mother. She's
yes,
been taking people's, like, I'm literally using the word garbage,
yeah,
you know, and it's time to,
literally.
yeah, it's time to clear her and
Yes,
also raise her vibration. And since we've moved from third dimension to fifth dimension,
yes.
it's time to also do that for her.
Right. So
So
for those that don't understand what you just said, moving from 3D to 5D, can you try to give a little
So
insight into what that
5D is
means?
where people are living in love.
So that's kind of living from the place of our soul,
Yes,
right?
from our heart.
Our heart, right?
Yes.
And our
And
highest consciousness self, as opposed to the ego, or no?
yes, it doesn't matter that it's like we
Oh,
are at a higher vibration level.
okay.
Where we are not trying to put each other down, where we
Right,
are trying to support each other,
right.
and
Lift each other up.
exactly, and lift each other, where there's no jealousy. Oh, he's got or
Hmm.
she's got more than I do, and I want what she has.
Right,
You know, where
right.
there's no competition, but there's collaboration.
I love that. Yeah.
So that's the simple way put.
Okay,
So
so the
treating
wellness part
So
is,
wellness part is very important so that
yes.
people, when they come in, before they go to the farm, they come to that, they go through that shift of
Uh-huh.
becoming pure in
So,
themselves and being that, and then they move to the farm to work on the farm.
okay. And so then would everybody that has a farm have the same sort of wellness component that would help anybody that's working on their farm? Or are you thinking at least for yours in Florida?
I am thinking of everything because, say, if you were doing farming and you
Right.
love doing that, right? But if somebody comes to your farm who's very angry,
Yes.
okay, and very mean and nasty and
Yes.
is working, and suddenly you let them work on it and they're like, oh, 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 and the plants will start to die.
Yeah.
And or they would get some
Right.
insects and that
A
harvest
fungus or
didn't
something
happen.
that gets on
The
them. Yeah.
fungus, exactly. And you're like, why is this happening? Without realizing. And you've lost the whole crop.
Oh, that's so interesting. Okay. So then each farm would have some form of a wellness program or,
Exactly.
yeah.
So I'm creating that when I already have that, so I know what exactly to do it. So
Okay.
that's why I'm saying I'm calling on people that this is what I want, and let's do that so that each person who is doing this, and you're trying to
Yes.
do something good for yourself and others in the
Yep.
community, so then let's do it the proper way, how God
Okay.
should, you know.
So, so people can contact you. What's the best way for people to contact you?
They can contact me. Best way is email or text.
Okay. So I'll make sure to have your email and your text in the show notes. Wonderful. Well, thank you so much. This has been absolutely fascinating. And I am sure that you are going to easily attract all the right people for this project.
I'm
All right.
excited. And all the different things I shared on this, I've never shared anywhere else.
Oh, is that right?
All
Ooh.
my journey, initial part, which I haven't shared.
Oh, wow. Not even in a book.
I have shared a little parts of it, but not
Oh,
so much in depth
oh,
to
wow. Okay. Well, I feel honored then.
it.
Beautiful. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
My pleasure. Thanks so much for listening to the Green Living Now podcast. If you're ready to take the next step towards a healthier, more toxin-free life, don't miss my free mini course, 5 Steps to Ditch Everyday Toxins Without Overwhelm. You'll learn simple, practical swaps to clean up your food, your home, and your lifestyle without getting lost in research or confusion. Just head over to my website, greenlivingnow.com, and you'll see it right there. And I'll have it in the show notes below. And if you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe, leave a review, and share it with someone who's ready to detox their life and feel better naturally. See you next time and stay green.